Did you press, bro?
Welcome to InfoWars. I'm Alex Jones. Today we're going to talk about how the liberal agenda is killing our kids and turning the frogs gay. That's Justin Oliveto.
And that is Kyle Mocha.
And this, I believe, is Zachary
Storminator. Shorman?
Zachary, middle named Long, last named Shorman. Oh, yeah. I'm having technical issues with Justin's camera there. I don't know what that is. On? I don't know what you're covering up.
You got a lot of jizz on your lens.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Binge Report, hosted by Alex Jones. My name's Kyle. That's Justin.
I thought it was the Bing Report.
It's the Bingy Report.
Because I don't use Google. I use Bing.
I'm a Bing boy. I like to Bing.
Have you ever binged anything?
I have binged things because I've accidentally hit the wrong browser.
I binged your sister.
That's the worst, dude.
Oh, what's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you for joining us this evening. We're here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. And you will be hearing a voice in the background. He's not on camera because, well,
we ran out of cameras.
Legally, we ran out of cameras. Legally.
Yes.
We had the maximum amount of cameras you're
That you're
allowed
in a household?
in a household.
Yes.
I had to throw my phone out the window.
Yeah, because
right
I got
as we were
6
going
cameras
live.
installed into my bed upstairs.
Yeah,
You could. I'm live stream my butthole.
Yeah, he does. But you're going to be hearing our good friend Jamie chiming in from time to time. Jamie, say hi.
Hi, folks. How you doing?
Hey, big ups to Jamie. Jamie is
second guest on the show.
Oh yeah, technically, yeah, we have had
guest.
second guest on the show. Yeah, the first one was unveiling our 100,000 subscribers plaque.
Nice.
What the hell did you bring?
Me.
You actually, you not that it's better than 100,000 subscriber plaque, but Jamie has gotten us a hookup at a movie theater that he works at.
Yes,
thank you for the concessions. That was wonderful.
Yep.
Appreciate that a lot. I was still through my large tub of popcorn by the time the movie started. I don't know how is that physically possible? I could make a 4,000 gallon tub of popcorn and it would be gone before the movie started.
How many calories is a large tub of popcorn?
I don't want to know.
Dude.
I don't want to know, but I do know that and the 2 things of candy I got were what I ate yesterday. So I'm an adult, guys. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And it goes up exponentially the more butter you put on it.
Yes,
for sure.
And do you know when you get to look at the butter when it comes in and it's shipped in the giant bag? I'm assuming.
Yes, it's not butter; it's butter-flavored oil.
Yes.
That was okay. I remember a buddy years ago was like, it's just oil.
It's only about 910 calories before the butter.
Before the butter.
So
you're
triple
probably
that.
at
27. I could have swum Mike Phelps level meats after that, but I have too much meat, and I would have sunk.
Olympic? I was about to say Olympic, but I came out with Olympic.
Olympic, yeah.
Olympic size of swimming pool of butter flavored oil.
Yeah, butter flavored
Olympic, you mean?
No, Olympic. I think.
Hickory dickory dock.
At
Your
least the
mom
brand we
sucked
have
up.
now is pretty good.
Yeah.
The old brand was disgusting. It still was oil.
I mean, there is something. They even said it in the beginning of the movie.
There's something about
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez is like, there's just something about that popcorn that tastes better than it does anywhere else.
Well, we saw the movie with Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes.
That's
I was on a date with her.
That's not due to the oil, although we use canola oil to pop it, which is delicious and that helps. But there's a salt, a special salt.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what gives it
when they
that's
pop?
what gives it that yellow coloring.
I was
gonna say,
is it pink Himalayan? Is that why it's so dang expensive?
When I work tomorrow, I'll steal a box.
Oh, nice.
You heard it here. You
heard it here. If you need boxes of salt, find that guy who you know what he looks like.
Look at him on the screen.
We went last night and we saw this movie. We went and saw D&D Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah.
We have all played D&D together, minus Jamie.
Jamie has never
never
played
D&D virgin.
D&D virgin, like most D&D players. Not sorry for that one.
Actually, I almost had sex.
Actually, yes. We went and saw last night, and going in to watch this movie, I've only played D&D with the two of you.
Justin,
we did
can you just turn it down a pinch?
A pinch?
It's blowing my balls off.
Why are your headphones on down there? That's
Is
not where
that
they're
better
supposed to
for
go.
you?
Yeah, why did I make myself laugh so hard?
I don't.
Because you're
I
funny.
don't know.
Because you're hilarious.
No one else laughed. All
I
right.
was Chuck. I smiled. If you watch the replay, I blush and I smile a little bit.
You look ruddy.
I'm ruddy. I'm ruddy. I look like a rudder.
Dutch,
So,
we're doing
I'm
Dutch,
Kyle the Dutch rudder.
Dutch rudders tonight.
So we've played D&D. We've done half of a campaign that we did as a podcast that was called Not Safe for Dungeons and Dragons. So we have a little bit of experience.
Sure.
I myself have a little bit more experience maybe than you, Justin, in listening to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But Zach has the most experience listening to podcasts about D&D.
I feel like it's my job
Yeah.
to only listen to D&D podcasts.
What are your, before we get into anything about the movie, what are the D&D podcasts that you listen to and that you recommend that if people haven't checked it out, like what should they go check out to get into it?
What's the best?
Yeah.
But one that, dude, Dungeons and Daddies.
Yeah, I
Dungeons
mean,
and
that
Dragons.
Dungeons and Daddies
I've heard of that
is
one.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah. The first season, you listened to that, right?
I've not finished
You've not
it, but
finished it?
I've gotten through a good
Yeah.
portion
gets
of it, and it's
wilder.
just
Yeah.
So
the whole setup and the whole idea of
Yeah.
that campaign and
And
world, you should say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's within D&D, yes, but totally different than what you would hear from most things. You know, like if you're in the D&D, you've probably listened to Critical Role, and those guys are
Yeah.
those guys are absolutely professional. They're voice actors. You know, in
and they
video
actually
games,
get a nod in the D&D movie. There's the one character from Critical Role that they have a spell that they use. Was it Blades of Grass or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Fresh grass.
Yeah. So like, if you've listened to that, yes, there's humor to it, but they are very much so sort of by the books.
Or it's like, because as far as I could tell, Matt Mercer was not in the movie last night.
No.
I don't think any of them were.
I don't think any movie were. There are some cameos that we'll get to.
That doesn't mean that they didn't have help writing some of the stuff. I didn't go through. I don't know.
I went through a little bit of the background on the movie, and it doesn't seem
I
like
think
any
they're
of
at
them
odds
are.
because when they made the Vox Machina TV show, they had to change the names of spells and stuff.
Yeah,
because Hasbro
yes.
didn't approve the Vox Machina TV show.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of them.
Our overlords Hasbro.
In addition to what you had mentioned, Zach, with Dungeons and Daddies, and then Justin, you bringing up Critical Role, the one that I think got me into it first, and Zach, I know it was a big one, and you are way further down the line.
I'm 100% caught up with everything they've done.
Yeah, the Adventure Zone.
Yeah, the Adventure Zone.
The McElroy brothers are hilarious. We probably don't have to tell you that. And they did a huge service to Dungeons and Dragons with their show because they played it a little bit more fast and loose. They like kind of adjusted. Even in the first run of it, they adjust like the gameplay a little bit to be more conducive to their storytelling. And then from there, I've listened to a little bit of a couple other campaigns. Right. They've just gone, crazy in a wonderful way, making new worlds and making new characters. And
that's the other cameo. I wanted a Taco from TV cameo.
Yeah.
And they were in the Underdark. That's where he was a TV star, but I guess,
They only show the Underdark for like a kind of a split second before. I mean, you're in there for a little bit where that whole battle happens.
That's where the dragon is.
But you don't get like a lot of anything living down there besides.
I mean, they kept it pretty on focus for the campaign.
They could have the whole movie, off. I do like that they didn't bog us down with explanations like, what's Neverwinter? What's Baldur's Gate? What's Water's Deep? Like, it's just like...
If you're going to a D&D movie, you know what that is.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that is, it's shown while you are watching it. It's pretty straightforward.
What trailer was that in? Oh, the new Transformers.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Now, I'm not. I just think that's a poor choice.
I feel it's a poor choice as well.
Of song choices.
For those that don't know, the trailers for the D&D movie include Rise of the Beast, the new Transformers movie that everybody's been asking for.
Our overlords Hasbro.
Yep.
They just own our childhood now, man.
Oh yeah,
they own everything.
Dude, I mean,
they have
so
from the beginning.
Money.
Let's face it, they've always had it.
Hasbro owns Magic.
Yeah.
How much money have I given Hasbro?
I have been given for free
money.
so much stuff.
Was that the
Hasbro.
first time that you watched the new Turtles trailer?
No, I had seen. I don't know if it was the full one we saw in the theater, but I had seen a little bit. I think that's going to be awesome.
It looks amazing. I think
so
when
cool.
I talked to you originally, you were upset about the do-rags.
Well, the first image I saw, I was like,
upset about do-rags.
Well, I was like, do-rags are for
it's
keeping your hair down. They don't have hair.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing a do-rag? No, my thing was more just visually. I was just like, I like the bandana look, the do-rag. I was kind of like, I don't know what they're doing with that.
Visually, it looks amazing.
It looks so good.
And I love that they're going like
Spider-Man,
oil painted.
Well, it's very Spider-Man into the multiverse.
Also that trailer looks absolutely
the second
amazing
one
too.
looks awesome. This is what we should have been doing. To talk about the trailers that are in the movie we just saw. That's a smarter way to do a show.
Yeah.
But this movie, D&D Honor Among Thieves, we all went in with high hopes. We all went in having seen obviously the trailer. We had spoken on the trailer on a previous episode here.
Yep.
Also forgot to say click the bell, subscribe, all that stuff, guys. You know what you're doing.
Slam that like button and prevent the liberals from bringing their agenda down and taking our firearms.
Yeah, next week's episode is brought to you by Andrew
I heard
Tate.
Barack Obama smells like sulfur because he's a demon.
Yep. He's got lizard eyes too, I think.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, next week we have Andrew Tate on the show.
I am the alpha now.
God.
I won't be here for that.
Neither will Andrew Tate.
All right, so just to give you a brief synopsis, this is what IMDb puts as the synopsis for the movie, all right? Synopsis. A charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. Pretty straightforward. It's an adventure story.
What's an Eric Coker reference?
Oh, really?
Well, they're a bird person.
Yeah. That's what Jonathan was, right?
Yes, Jonathan was.
Not Jonathan.
Christopher.
Jeffrey.
No,
was it Jeff?
It was Jonathan, but they said it funny.
Yeah, Jonathan. It was. I don't know. This is something weird. But basically, the movie. They said something weird. The movie opens up with Edgin Darvis, who is the Bard, played by Chris Pine.
Love that, Chris Pine.
Wait, is this still a synopsis?
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Before you get into that, I just want to touch on one thing. I went back and rewatched the trailer.
Yep.
And one of the coolest things that you will not one of the coolest ways they approached the trailer was explaining the campaign.
Oh, I didn't really think of that.
Because Chris Pine comes out and says, we took a heist that went really wrong. Like literally sets it up.
We helped the wrong person get something. Yeah. And looking back at it now, it's like, oh wow,
you're building up the campaign,
and that's not a line that's really said anywhere in the movie. That's just
it's literally just for the trailer to set that up.
Yep.
I thought that was a really cool touch, and there's a lot of little things in the movie, and as we get into it, the simple things in the movie were my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, it was. Everything about this movie I had fun with. There were a couple of scenes that I thought were kind of edited a little wonky, but
you were
those were things that were based on my opinion of what it was going to be in the preview. And a lot of times previews add things in, so you're not getting the same thing repeated when you're in theater. So the thing opens up with Edgin, which is played by Christopher Pine. Christopher Pine, a little bit of background on him. Obviously, he was Kirk. Mm-hmm. He was in Wonder Woman. He's been in TV shows and movies for the last a lot of dreams star him.
6 months. I had to get a new mattress.
But he's the Bard, and the rest of the main crew that you have is Michelle Rodriguez as Holga. Then Justice Smith plays Simon. And then you have Sophia Lillis as Doric, who is...
She's great.
The Druid.
Yeah, the Druid. What is the...
Tiefling.
Tiefling, that's the word. I kept saying Tiefly. I'm like, that's not right. Tiefly? Flea?
My favorite kind of green tea. Tiefly.
Flyleaf.
Flyleaf.
And then you do have, with the rest of the cast, Hugh Grant is in there as Forge. He's technically the rogue in their group.
Okay, I was wondering what he.
Yeah, he was the rogue.
Okay.
And then
Makes
you
sense.
get
he wants all the loot.
Regé I don't know if it's Regé-Jean or Regé-Jean. Regé-Jean Page as Zank, and then you have Chloe Coleman as Kira, the daughter of Christopher Pine's character, and then best name in the cast, Daisy Head plays Daisy Head plays Sophina. Who is what were the red
mages.
Red wizards, yeah.
Red wizards.
So this movie, that's the cast. There's a bunch of other people that are in there as well, but they're not as important to talk about, except for one, which we'll get to later. The making of this movie is a long story that is summed up with. They started production on this movie in 2013, like the pre-production of it, not the actual like filming. Obviously,
I think that's because of legal channels of Hasbro.
It was because of them not being able to nail down the script, and there were a bunch of iterations, a bunch of legalities where Warner Brothers sued whoever was trying to make the movie because they still had the rights from their trilogy, and then it wound up going over to Paramount. So the eventual writers and directors of this are two really awesomely talented guys, Jonathan Goldstein and then John Francis Daly. They're the Johns, you know. Jonathan Goldstein has been writing in TV for most of the last 25 years, and he met John Francis Daly when John Francis Daly was a kid working on the Gina Davis Show, which was a short-lived TV show starring Mrs. Gums herself, Gina Davis, and they were like the third or fourth team that was handed.
Long Kiss Goodnight is a great movie, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean she's amazing.
Yeah.
League of Their Own, come on.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. But
you're never gonna. What's the line with Rosie O'Donnell? You're never gonna make. Or there's a lot of girls here.
Yeah.
You're never gonna make the team or something like that.
I don't remember. Whatever. It's a very vague line you just referenced.
I don't know. I just saw a clip of it recently, baseball? So I figured you just remember.
There's no crying in baseball.
Why there's no crying in baseball?
So
all I do is cry.
John Francis Daly was a child actor known most famously for playing Weir in Freaks and Geeks, which was the Judd Apatow created
Which
and
one is
run.
He
is the main geek.
The main kid.
He's the little brother of the girl, right? And he has D&D stuff all over the wall. Like it's never fully like leaned into until the last episode, which is called Discos and Dragons, where they kind of like lean into a little bit more. But he has been in this world as a player and a fan of D&D for 20-25 years.
Sure.
So it was, once I saw that he was attached to it, I'm like, this is in good hands, because not only did they helm this and have like he's also in waiting, he's the guy getting trained, who does the goat at the end to everybody, but they together co-wrote Horrible Bosses 1 and 2, and that was like their first like big thing that went out. They did Game Night, which is a very
I didn't realize that.
Their Game Night, and just visually that movie was stunning because they filmed real life angles.
We almost got Jason Bateman as Chris.
Oh my gosh, that would have been great. That really
would have been horrible. That would have been absolutely horrible.
Guys, if we could leave right now, that would be okay. All right, no. All right. Yeah.
And on the next episode of Dungeons and Dragons,
he's just running on fire. It never happens. And then they also were part of the writing staff for Spider-Man: Homecoming. But the first thing that they ever wrote and directed together as a team is the 2015 National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, I love
the
that
Ed
movie.
Helms one,
I think that is
a great job with.
It's great. That movie is great.
An amazing job. While we're talking, did you just bring out a map of
the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves map?
Oh wow! Okay, this is the actual sweet. So we've got this guy here.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nose in it.
Oh, I'm gonna do something else.
I mean, I will say that it is a pretty nice piece of cloth.
Yeah, it's a good right. That's what it is.
Did they give this out opening night?
Yeah, they were giving them out opening night along with posters.
Oh, I was really hoping they were going to be.
Me,
I really thought they were going to have D20s. I was really hoping for
that would have
D20s.
been
awesome, but it's probably cheaper to go with.
Oh, I'm sure cloth
100%. And not only that, one kid would have walked out with a box full of D20s. Like, thanks.
No, and it's also I don't want a whole bunch of D20s in my theater that I have to clean up.
Oh, I do. I want you to clean them up and give them to me.
How many D20s do you have?
6.
Not enough.
67?
67.
I may have never played Dungeons and Dragons, but from what I've heard from everybody that does, you never have enough dice.
Oh, you never have enough dice. Or you have too many dice and you're rolling the wrong ones. That's never happened to me before.
Totally. So, in addition to having done all those projects in the past, this story, in addition to the Johns, is based on a script that was done by Chris McKay, who is the director of Lego Batman, Tomorrow Wars, and Renfield.
So these guys, all right. So what's actually pretty funny is, what did we see recently? Cocaine Bear had ties into.
Oh yeah, it was the Philip and Lord, or Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller.
Yeah, Miller. But this is all within that wheelhouse.
So these guys are killing it.
Yeah, they're crushing it right now. They are literally the. I mean, I wouldn't say they're the Spielbergs and Lucases, but they're kind of the Lucases, at least. In the way that they are like creating, multiple projects that are getting a lot of success.
Who's my favorite Luke, though?
Who?
Atmadong.
I love Luke Atmadong.
Luke Atmadong.
I met him last night. The movie's been in production since 2013. It was filmed, if you were interested, in Iceland and Northern Ireland.
Okay.
I have to assume the opening scene is Iceland, even though Iceland's green.
No, it's Icewind Dale.
Yeah.
Icewind Dale, yes.
I'll have an Icewind Dale's Pale Ale. How have they never done that?
Icewind Dale's Pale Ale.
They should.
Yeah.
Oh
because,
my God.
Because Hasbro probably wants way too much money for
and
that.
they probably don't want alcohol sponsored things out there.
Although you could do it with like an accent, Ice Twin Dale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I'm sure you can
characters.
You can spell it incorrectly and get the phonetic pronunciation of it right. Yeah, people do that stuff all the time with beer. So the movie premiered at South by Southwest. They do have a TV show in the work right now for Paramount Plus based on this iteration.
Yeah, because they've said that they want to do more.
They've said that they want to follow more with these characters. They never intended to make it like a huge world. They were like, we're going to do one really, really good, and then, if something happens, something happens. And
honestly,
now,
a series makes the most sense.
It does.
Have a bunch of seasons. They can be different. They can be different characters.
Give us different campaigns every season.
Yeah, exactly.
And give us that setting. Give us those places that we know.
Yep.
Neverwinter.
Yeah, just keep it in the Forgotten Realm.
Yeah, exactly.
And so for this movie, it had a budget of $150 million, which is definitely spent very well on the visuals.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that.
I'm sure that whole movie is just, Ireland and Iceland, but then mostly a green screen happening. So it's got a $150 million budget, and as of Monday, it has grossed $125 million worldwide. So week and a half into being open, it is not yet a financial success, but it pretty much they're going to hit 200 million without any issue.
Now, is that money included in all of the years of, or is it specifically just the most recent?
Whatever their budget for that. I'm sure maybe they include what they paid the other writers, because before this, it was just paying a guy probably $200,000, go write the script for the next year, and then bring it in, and then there's people just doing run-throughs on it and little punch-ups here and there. And then it took until the Johns took over that they actually found the script that they liked.
I think that this movie is going one because it's targeted at nerds and people that
that's
like
actually
collecting
the next piece
stuff.
of information I was going to bring up. Who they're targeting?
Awesome. Just sales alone on Funko Pops and licensing and all that stuff. And anything branded Honor Among Thieves specifically is going to do so.
Well, they're probably going to roll out a gameplay book based on a little bit more along these lines, or just novels based on other adventures, graphic novels, anything like that.
Hasbro, they are the kings of
it's going to be everything from action figures to real dolls.
I just hope, real dolls.
I love my Bumblebee sex doll.
But
I hope that it doesn't Like, I hope it does well enough that they're not going to just like throw it away.
Yeah.
Because, but I think that because it's Hasbro, they know that they have to spend a little bit of money to, keep a series or something going.
Yep. And I think it's going to do well enough that they're going to be intrigued, and the people involved with it, apparently everybody had a wonderful time making the movie. There doesn't seem to be any real turmoil behind the scenes. It
looked like a fun movie.
Yeah, it looked like they were having a blast. And then, so with the target audience from the first week, the first weekend it was on top of the box office. Second week it dropped to third. But its target audience really showed up. 60% of its audience was male.
Yep.
Or 61.
How did they know that? They didn't ask me last
They didn't. They didn't. I don't know how they get these numbers.
I bet you credit cards or other things.
Yeah, it's probably stuff along those lines. Or they just do pick 20 theaters and we just do hey, how many of this and how many of that?
Or it could be just anybody that's using a phone or anything to pay. You know what I mean?
No, what it probably is they're tracking us. They're tracking us.
They're not tracking
in the theater.
They're tracking us, and they're keeping tabs on all of our whereabouts.
They're just like, this guy just went and saw that Disney princess movie. Oh, put him on a list.
No, they estimate. So they have certain people at certain theaters across the country.
Okay.
And they literally watch people walk into the theater, and they're just like, okay, this many men walked in.
They got the observers from Fringe.
Yeah, and then they just say, okay, there was.
I saw that bald guy creeping on us in the corner.
And then they just average it out, and they're just like, okay, it was this much at this
Makes
theater.
sense.
It should technically extrapolate
yeah.
across the nation.
So 61%, I believe the number was male, and then of the overall 63% was 18 to 34.
Yeah.
So that is right in the wheelhouse. Now the funny thing is, the only one of us that falls into that category is Zach.
Yes.
Yes. We
are
are no
women.
longer. We are no longer the demo since
true.
we swapped. I mean, since we passed the
We've
threshold
aged out.
to 35 and up.
See, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more people in their 40s going to see this that have been playing D&D
especially
since they were
they're not
kids.
going open. I feel like most of them aren't going opening night because most of them don't leave.
A lot of people went.
Often.
No. But see, they had at least at our theater, they had 2 special showings before opening night.
What was the special show? Just early showings?
Early showings on a Sunday.
Not just a Thursday night before. Okay.
2 p.m. one showing. 2 p.m. 2 Sundays before, and it was basically all D&D groups.
Oh,
they
so people brought their
they would
costumes?
show up.
Cool.
Yeah, some costumes.
Yes.
Some in costumes, some not, but it was to me it was hilarious because I'm watching them walk in, and it was always groups of 4 and 5. Basically, what it would take to play D&D.
There was always a guy in a pointy hat, a short guy who's just jumping on everything, a real big guy.
And I would say that again because they estimate. I think they're maybe wrong because they're guessing on the ages. I saw a lot older crowd.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, but that could also
they're like, oh, those kids over there in the outfits, and the guys turn around with their AARP cards.
Our area skews older, so maybe it's just that.
True.
But I'm just.
Yeah, I guess it depends. It depends on where they're doing it. If it's in California,
I know that my area skews older.
My area skews slightly to the right.
Oh, my area skews slightly inside right now.
My area smells like cabbage.
Yeah, nobody say anything. Let him sit in that. Let him sit.
I'm already sitting in it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get into the plot and the breakdown of this movie. So prior to imprisonment, Bard Edgin Darvis served as a member of the Harpers, an order of peacekeepers, until disciples of a red wizard he had arrested killed his wife. Accompanied by barbarian Holga Kilgore, Edgin attempted to make a new life for himself and his daughter Kira by turning to theft, teaming with the amateur sorcerer Simon, rogue Forge Fitzwilliam. That's his last name. I don't know if you actually hear that ever.
No,
it's like Forge.
Maybe in the very
Forge.
beginning.
Yeah. And Forge is a mysterious acquaintance named Sophina. All of this is told to us in a wonderful Shawshank Redemption kind of scene where they are serving what they're like in their second year.
Yeah, they're on their second year.
What is the name of the prison? Anybody?
I don't know the name of the prison.
Oh, I had it down here somewhere.
Well, I looked up
Revel's End.
I looked up the name of the bird guy. It's Jarnathan.
Jarnathan. Yeah,
Jarnathan.
Is Jarnathan here? Because,
Jarnathan.
really...
Yeah. So he's telling the story of why he's in jail and why they should be getting out.
Well, because they're going up and getting a pardon.
Yeah.
He's talking in front of the
they're
board.
They're looking to get basically released, and he's giving them the sob story of how his wife died and how his daughter, is somewhere with one of their friends, and they need to go make sure that she's good, and they want to get out of prison for that. But he keeps stalling and stalling.
Well,
and stalling
this is where the small things.
Yeah.
I absolutely love in this film, because every time that he pauses and he's like, "Oh, I really wish that Jonathan or whatever Jonathan was here," and you could see the crit fail roll or the failed roll, and there's there's a storm. Get back to the story. We're waiting. You know what I mean? And then you can see when he wins.
Yeah.
On
and
those
then finally,
rolls.
Jonathan, after he tells this whole story about how his wife and his wife
how
was
his life
killed.
of crime is over, and all that stuff.
He's done, blah blah blah. Because he was once again a peacekeeper, then he moved into being a thief, and that's how they survived.
He was going to get something to revive his wife.
Yeah, he was looking for the tablet of reawakening to resurrect his wife, but he and Holga were captured in a time spell that froze them. And the tablet of reawakening and the daughter and everybody.
Well, he throws it to
Holga,
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah. But besides Edgin and Holga, everybody else escapes. And then now they're in prison and they're giving the sob story. And then Jarnathan finally walks through the room, walks into the door, and he's like, "Oh, finally, Jarnathan!" And he goes to hug him. And as a viewer at this point, they do a great job because you're sitting there and you're just Jarnathan is a buddy of his. Jarnathan has
because the way he talks about it is you should really hear this part. Yeah.
And you're thinking, it's going to be a guy who he had a past with, and that can sway. And the second Jarnathan walks in the room, he's what is the bird thing called again? Aarakocra. And he goes and embraces him hey, and then all of a sudden Michelle Rodriguez and he just take the dude and throw him out the window. And they're riding him down. It's just kind of fly already.
They hang glide out.
The best part though is, you guys we approved your pardon they're flying out of the window.
He takes them and throws out. They're you've been approved, and now they're going to be wanted people who, if they had been approved, I'm assuming they would have been transported out.
Yes.
They would have been brought to safety somewhere.
Yes.
They wouldn't have had to trek through all of the snow.
Yeah.
So,
it's every time that we've played D&D, we've come up with hair.
Yeah, we always screw up.
But if you're approved for parole and you're now, what are you wanted for? Throwing a Jarnathan out a window,
exactly,
and riding him.
And let's be honest, he is bird-like. He can fly. That's not really the worst thing. It's you threw the fish in the river.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I returned him to his natural habitat.
I really like that. They did the look of those good. The Aarakocra looked cool.
Everything looked good.
There's a dragonborn on that council.
Yeah.
Cool. There's the tabaxis in that where they pull the cat. They pull the cat out of the fish.
Yeah.
What is the name of that species?
Tabaxi.
Tabaxi.
It's the cat people.
Yeah.
Cat people run.
But the element that Justin that you're bringing up, the fact that throughout the story you can feel and tell where, if you were playing this campaign, that's where your role was just crap. You just had a crap role, and it feels like Michelle Rodriguez's character just has good roles throughout the entire
the whole thing.
The whole movie.
Also, talking about her scenes in particular, my favorite scene in the whole movie, you can see it in the trailer, is when they're about to get beheaded.
Yes.
And she's trying to basically
she's doing the distracting.
I know I jumped ahead. We can quickly go through it. They jump out the window. They're trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
They realize that they look and see that Forge is now the Lord of Neverwinter.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, he has to have my daughter. So they end up in Neverwinter. Getting to we can go back in a second, but my favorite scene is literally when she's digging that brick out, and there's always one thing that we forget, that talking is a free action.
Yes. Yeah.
So
in D&D
when she's
gameplay,
killing and
you
trying,
can always speak.
Yes. So before she's about to get beheaded, she's stalling time, and she's like, "Hey, what do you do? How do you clean that weapon?
How do you clean that weapon? What does he say? Like flaxseed oil,
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, linseed oil. Yeah.
Once a week.
Yeah, once a month. Huh? You should probably do it a little bit more than that. Yeah,
and then it's like, what is what's the blade made out of? And he's just like, "You're about to die. This is what you're worried about." And it's like one of my.
I think she says who the arm.
She notices
She names
who it
the
was.
armor who made it.
Yeah, no, but like stuff
talking
like that.
is a free action.
Talking is a free action.
Buying time to make decisions.
Yep.
It was
because at any point the DM could be like, "All right, I'm done with you trying to do whatever you're doing. Here comes the axe, and now you have to act."
Yes, exactly.
So we go back. They let me see where we were at. So they
Jarnathan. Just said that they were going to Neverwinter to go for Forge.
Yeah. So basically, after 2 years in Revel's End Arctic prison, the pair escaped to Neverwinter and learned Forge has become the Lord there after its prior Lord fell mysteriously incapacitated. Forge has been taking care of Kira, the daughter, convincing her that Edgin's selfish greed led to his arrest, which is a storyline through the whole thing. The daughter is not happy with her dad.
Yeah.
He left her. She's never known the mother. She was a baby. And he left her, and it is on her or on him why everything has, gone as it has, because he is a greedy, selfish individual. So we get I don't know what you're doing, but it's funny.
I'm trying to read the chat from over here. But every day I get older.
Me too.
You're the youngest one here.
Yeah, but he's getting older every day. So Forge has been taking care of Kira, convincing her that Edgin's selfish greed led to the arrest. Sophina is revealed as a red wizard, who again are the people that killed Edgin's wife. And she and Forge deliberately orchestrated the capture of everything. So at this point, we find out, okay, Forge isn't just like dumb luck, stumbled into something. He's got dark magic working alongside him in some capacity. Yep. He is an idiot. He's a bumbling fool.
Yeah, he's a bard. He is a bard.
But he is the rogue. He is the rogue.
We're talking about...
Forge. But he is kind of a bumbling idiot.
he just wants treasure.
Yeah, all he's after is for himself.
Low perception.
Yes.
Definitely low perception. And not high on wisdom or intelligence at all.
Technically, none of them are.
Yeah. I don't know. Hulka's smart. She just doesn't
I'm just talking about that one scene.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that scene was great, too.
So Sophina attempts to execute Edgin and Holga, but they escape and decide to rob Forge's vault and bring Kira home during the upcoming High Sun Games, needing the tablet to prove their innocence to Kira and resurrect Edgin's wife. So that's kind of the whole catalyst for what the movie is and the whole campaign they're going through here. So the High Sun Games are like a gladiator-style gaming event that had previously been banned, but Forge reinstituted them, promising that the games would be bringing in tourists and money. Edgin and Holgan track down Simon to help, and he suggests recruiting Doric, a tiefling druid.
Well, they have to go
whose forest community is fighting forest logging.
Well, that's because they escaped getting killed.
Yeah.
So
they're going to go and at this point with Doric shape-shifting into a fly. She infiltrates Forge's castle. Finding the vault has magical defenses from what is Morden Canaan. Simon lacks the power to disable it. Simon's proposes that a magic relic, the Helm of Destruction, could disable them, and they travel to an old graveyard to ask Holga's ancestors where to find it.
But before that, one of the greatest cameos I've seen in any movie in recent.
Oh, when they have to go to her ex.
Yes. When they go to her ex.
They give a little bit of background for Holga. Holga talks about how she had a husband or a partner, however they say it, and that things didn't end so great, and they have to travel through where he lives to get this item.
And it's Michelle Rodriguez. She's jacked.
Yep.
And they make her look even bigger in this movie because she's a barbarian.
Yes. So they go in she goes in to knock on the door of the house that I'm assuming she also lived in at one point, and she knows where it is. And the door opens, and it's this tiny hobbit-sized
it's like
man.
a halfling.
It's a halfling.
It's a halfling, and it is right off the bat, you're like, oh, it's just funny that he's so small.
Yep.
So you were totally distracted by everything else until, like, he sits down in the chair, and he's just talking to her, and he's all nice.
And you're like, wait a second.
And you're looking, and you're like, wait. And then
know
Zach
this
just
person.
goes, no. And I look over, and I'm like, that's Bradley Cooper. And perfectly, like, wonderfully cast. Now, this was filmed in 2001. So his hairstyle and everything,
2001?
2021.
Jesus.
I'm losing years.
Jeez,
I just lost 20 years, guys.
That was even before the hangover.
Yeah, he left Wet Hot American Summer and filmed this, and then they just like held it for 20 years. So they you get to see him, but then not only do they have their little conversation, you then meet that he has a new woman who is even more barbaric
Bigger than
she is. It is, and there's like a whole kind of like, all right, like, she obviously has no ability to love at that moment, and is kind of like still hung up on him, and kind of needs to, by the end of the movie, kind of let it go and move on. It's like her journey that she's going on within this journey. So it is really good. So they traveled to the old graveyard to talk to Olga's ancestors because they all died in a battle fighting against people who are trying to steal the Helm of Disjunction.
Yes.
And they go to this graveyard.
Well, because
Simon has the ability to raise the dead to ask them 5 questions.
Which when they're like, why only 5 questions, is a great thing because that's something a DM would do, or
like,
it could
is that just
actually
an
be a
arbitrary
thing.
number? Is there a reason why?
You get 5. You got 5 questions,
and probably the first. I mean, everything up till here has had humor in it, but the first full-on laugh out loud scene is they resurrect the first guy and they just do they do the classic thing. And
who's on first?
Well, so who's on first, but it's more, in my mind, it's closer to Monty Python, the bridge.
Yeah.
And apparently, the
was that number 4?
thing,
Was that number 4? Nope. Or whatever it was.
Yeah. How many was that? That was the 4th one. It was just like, and then he dies.
And he asks him a question and puts what at the end. He's like, why did you put
add
what
what?
at the end?
Yeah, why did you put what at the end? But the funnier thing to me is, in my research, the original plans was to have Monty Python play all of those characters.
Are you serious? That would have
But
been
for one
awesome.
reason or another, they didn't. But in Australia, they're all voiced by Auntie Donna.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got as close as they could. So the Australian release, they get Auntie Donna.
That's awesome.
And I don't believe in the American. I don't know who the voices are, but they weren't able to get who they wanted. But they do this whole thing where they ask the first guy,
great, dude.
and he, they ask him, and then he dies. And like, all right, well, he can never be re-resurrected.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. And then they have to check 3 more guys before they finally find the person who knows.
I love that too, because that plays like a game of D&D.
Yeah.
Where you're asking the dungeon master.
Yeah.
Was that the 4th question? But if your dungeon master is funny, they
in character,
they do respond in character. It's
Also,
just,
the way the lead up was, where it's like, oh, so you had the helm last, and there's like, I handed it off.
I handed it off to him,
and then that was the last thing I saw or
and then
remember.
What happened? Oh, then I died.
the guy that cracked his head on the tub.
Yeah.
I got out of my bath morning for the battle.
Or what was it? Sven
that's
or whatever.
my brother. You're looking for my brother.
Yeah, you're looking for my brother.
Is he okay?
And then so they ask 4 questions of the last one, and they get the information that they need.
Yeah.
And then they just walk away, and he's just sitting there, just kind of like, hello, can somebody please ask me another question? Please? All right. And that was, knowing that it was written with the hopes of Monty Python being in there, it is written perfectly as a Monty Python.
I agree.
And it is, again, how you're saying, it is what a DM would do to you. So the fact that anybody might, complain, do to you, the fact that anybody might complain about how the humor is working into this must have the most boring D&D campaign, or take it way too seriously.
For me, obviously I've not played a lot of D&D, but I would much rather have fun with a game than to be by the books on everything. I'm sure somebody who is a really good DM that plays by the books knows how to work.
Yeah, but even really serious campaigns have funny moments.
Sure.
Oh, you have
in
to.
real life. You can't be serious all the time.
At the end of the day, it's a game.
Yes, it's a game. Yeah, you should have fun.
I did see like a post on the some nerd subreddit that and they said that...
Is that the name of the subreddit? Some nerd?
No, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyone complaining that the D&D movie is too funny and silly has clearly never played.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Like, the only people complaining that it's too silly don't know what the game's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in this scene again, he finally gets the information that he needs. The corpses reveal that they gave the helm to Zank Yandar, a paladin who fled the country. And that is who Regé Jean-Paul plays. Holy crap, is he good.
Oh,
it's
my God,
yes.
It is such a... It's Data, almost. Like, it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's Spock. It's like, one of those, like, emotionless...
Because that's a DM player.
Yeah.
That's a DM character.
Yeah, like where I'm not putting any more energy into this character.
As someone that's never played D&D, I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it as...
Yeah, I was telling him about the walking in the straight line thing.
Yeah, I thought of it as when like you're playing World of Warcraft or any MMO game where there's a character that you're playing and they're accompanying you and helping you.
Oh, like an NPC just
an
walking
NPC.
in.
They just kind of do what's written and nothing more.
Exactly.
And that's the way that character plays.
There is 100%. A great scene when so basically they meet Zank, and after, their exchanges and everything, Zank forces Edgin to swear to distribute any gained bounty to the people that guides the group through the Underdark to retrieve the helm. So they're like told where they have to go to retrieve it. But I wanted to say the walk away scene.
Yes, before we get to that, the Data moment when you're talking about it is the character, the DM being like, he talks like you shouldn't be. Why are you trying to be so witty and stupid and funny? Like you are, you know what I mean? And like
we're in a serious situation right now.
Yeah. You need to take this serious, and everybody's just like being very,
He's also an exposition dump. Because
yes,
you a lot of backstory on the Red Wizard.
Yes, 100%. He's a critical character that you run into in a campaign that is helping you get to the next thing.
He has a critical role in this movie.
Yes, very much so. But the walk away scene when they're just done with him, his part of that quest is done. He's just walking, and where does it's not like he's just going to disappear.
Yeah,
so where does the DM?
They're all looking at him, and he's just walking straight away, and they're like, he's just walking a perfectly straight line, and like 20 feet in front of him is a big boulder, and they're like, oh no.
What's he going to do?
What's he going to do? And he just walks straight and goes over it and down. Best thing I found out, Regé Jean-Paul improvised.
That's awesome.
It wasn't in the script. He just walked off.
That is someone knowing what they had to do.
Because in a movie, as an actor, you go until they say cut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if they don't say cut and they're all still talking behind him, and then the actors are like goofing off. So I don't know if the take we saw is the one and only they did of that, but he improvised it, and then they went, that's perfect. That's what we're doing. So, like, the fact that they had the ability to play a little bit with this movie definitely led the characters to being just more dimensional. So they got to go to the Underdark to retrieve the helm with the help of a teleportation staff obtained by Holga's halfling ex-husband,
walking stick.
Bradley Cooper, who she assumed it was just a walking stick and takes it. Like, oh, you can take that.
Well, barbarian would be perceptive.
And then the second
that's the other great thing about it, because when Simon sees the stuff,
he knows
he's immediately like, where did you get that?
He has proficiency in magical knowledge.
Arcana.
Yeah, so he would pick up on that, and she would be walking around with that for 1,000 years and never
keep in mind, up until this point, he was very lackluster. He has no confidence or faith in himself.
And the whole relationship between he and Doric is that he is kind of
he's
in
totally
love with
into
her.
it.
And that relationship is great. Side note on her, the whole movie, I'm sitting there going, "Who is this girl? Who is this girl?" It's Beverly from It.
Yeah.
It's the girl that played young Beverly.
Did you not know that?
I did not, but she's also Gretel in Gretel and Hansel.
I
saw a picture of her.
Movie too.
I saw a picture of her. She has like kind of like shorter hair and everything. She looks like she's getting ready to be like in an old stage production of Peter Pan, like how they always had like a lighter girl with a higher voice, the Mary Martin, Peter Pan from like the 70s, where she's just flying around and everything. But then she also kind of looks like Julie Andrews, like a young Julie Andrews.
Did anybody else pay attention to when she would walk around where she seemed very uncomfortable the whole time, like they were just like here, like part of the character, because she's a druid in clothing, she seemed uncomfortable
until she was like in her like transformed.
Yes.
Yeah. Which again, we talked about this a little bit beforehand. For anybody that's listening, druids cannot turn into
An owl
bears.
Yes.
But whatever, it was perfect. It's what is like what is that? That's an owl bear. Like and that's you find that out like right. That's what she is as.
I mean, you see it in the trailer. You watch it transform.
And I remember people got upset over that in the trailer too.
Whatever, dude.
Have
fun
just
with
like
it.
anything
Have
else.
fun with
The
it.
diehards always find something to get upset about.
And then so they get the hither thither, as they call it, which is a staff that they can just basically point to one side.
It's a portal gun.
It's a portal gun. It's a Rick and Morty portal gun.
No.
Well, no, you're right. A Rick and Morty portal gun can go anywhere you program it to.
It's a portal from Portal.
Portal. Yes, it's a portal gun. The posters that I have.
You have to aim it. And then, you have to be able to see where you're
Don't
going.
bring Rick and Morty into this house.
There ain't no Rick and Morty in this house.
I forgot to say, the whole reason I ever got into D&D is because of Dan Harmon and Harmontown. Like, that is literally what got me into D&D.
I'm surprised you didn't bring that up, because that was probably the first time I listened to an audio version.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, I've never played D&D, but this is great. You got to check it out. So from the halfling ex-husband, they find the relic. They realize that it is a portal gun. They can jump from one side to another, so they use it to get around the bridge that Simon has stupidly.
Because I mean the explanation
of
having
funny.
Yeah,
and he's like,
I didn't know the bridge began.
But he's like every other stone. And then on the 5th stone, you have to jump 2 stones.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's every even stone, but you switch to the 4th one. It like pans back to like Chris Pine's face. Just like, what?
A whole detailed explanation on how to get across this bridge perfectly.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't know where the bridge began. I guess this is technically where the bridge began.
You sound like Stewie.
No, this is Stewie. Stewie's up here. Got to do a little bit of Rex Harrison. Then go up in here. Then go down here. We go, Brian, how are we doing this? Brian, I don't know. All right. So, side note on that.
That was
Simon,
pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Simon is the only actor. Justice Smith is the only actor that's using his that's not using his actual native accent. They just let everybody else run with it because there's no Britain, so like why would everybody all have British accents? It's the old like, why are we doing a movie about Egypt or Germany and everyone's British? Or except for Tom Cruise, who's American. In anything.
Last Samurai.
Last Samurai and in Valkyrie. Where he
is
an American voice guy. So he's the only one that uses a character voice for the whole thing, and it was unknown to Hugh Grant when they were filming that he wasn't British. Like, so
one over on the old Hugh.
Yeah, it was good.
So he fooled the Brit.
Yeah. So then we get to the scene where that they are now having to escape from the Underdark, and they're escaping from the.
Well, because they get the helmet. Yeah, they get the helmet.
They get the helmet, and they have to escape from Thembercod, a pudgy red dragon, before departing.
Funny. You see it in the the Red
Paladin,
Wizards come.
He fights them and kicks their ass.
That fight
scene
was
everybody.
awesome.
It was awesome.
So they
it was a Star Wars
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, they're
weapons
creepy
glowing.
in a really. It reminded me of John Carter of Mars, The Gods of Mars. If you ever read any of those books,
well,
in
I
the
watched
movie, they do a pretty good job. But like the gods are very much like these weird, ominous, bald, beings that are just kind of like overwatching everything.
Yeah.
And these the Red Wizards are like extremely powerful.
Yep.
But so they fight them, and then they have to escape.
I mean, the sword
the
that
fat
he
red
has,
dragon.
the sword he has that shoots. That's
to
only
say,
a DM thing, dude.
That's what I was like. The sword shot out, right?
Yeah, it shot out and it turned into a dagger.
Yeah, it turned into a dagger. I was like, did I see that?
Yeah,
like, I've never
happened.
seen that before.
So now they've got the helm, right? And the whole idea is that Simon has to master the helm. He has to attune to it.
Yeah.
And he is not able to do it. And that's another great scene where he puts on the helmet, interacts with his great-great-great-great-grandfather.
The visuals on that when everything slowly is melting away.
Like oil canvas.
It was
paint.
so cool.
Which definitely just, if you ever saw What Dreams May Come, the most depressing and dark Robin Williams movie ever. It had feelings of that and like the creepy, just, everything just kind of just melting away. And then, the guy, like, basically flicks him and he goes flying. And to everybody else, it was just, like, a sec. He put it on.
The moment he put it on, he went flying.
So he's having trouble mastering this. Yeah. So they decide to use the staff to enter a vault during the games. And that'll be, like, their backup. But the fact that they have, like, Plan A and Plan B... and then Plan C, which is just Plan A again. But Plan A has, is tainted. It's got a bad name.
Then Plan B
and then
is
Plan
Plan
D
B.
is Plan B, but Plan B's got a bad name. Like that level of humor throughout is perfect.
Plan B was a good plan.
Plan B was
the greatest thing is
that was awesome when, the way they pulled that whole thing off.
Yeah, that was great.
What was the druid's name?
Doric.
Doric, when she's like, so what do you bring to the table? He's like, I bring plans.
You already made the plans. Well, if that plan goes wrong, then I go over there, I think of another plan.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he's like, he has to
Does anybody else have a plan?
After they reveal that, when they get the helm and they reveal that he knew all along it wasn't going to work, but was just like, just don't tell them. And Doric's character has a hard time trusting humans because of how they have treated her kind. Throughout, like, everybody, like, to kind of just establish all of this, like, obviously Christopher Pine's character, his drive is that he wants his wife back, he wants his daughter, he wants his life and his family. The character of Holga wants, she wants her family back, which is the girl. And she wants to, she gave up her entire life, basically, when she became a rogue, or became a thief. And then Simon needs confidence. He's the cowardly lion of the group, and Doric needs to learn to basically be accepting. Are we froze? No? Oh.
No, Zach is going in and out of being frozen.
Oh, weird. Or is he just not moving?
I just wasn't moving.
Oh, no, yeah, you are frozen.
No, you are frozen.
Well, while you're doing that...
There we go. We're back. We are back. I don't know why I was doing that.
So he's got to try to master the whole thing. He knew that the plan wasn't necessarily going to work because of the lack of confidence that Simon had. And Simon's lack of confidence is his big thing that he has to overcome.
And it wasn't even his lack of confidence. He's the type of character that believes we don't know until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, no, you think it's not going to happen, but we don't know until we try. We have to try.
I mean, he is in the sense of that being the bard, the guy to inspire. It didn't matter.
Yeah. What he brings to the table,
inspiration.
It's inspiration. That's literally like that is the idea of a man like when he sings the song to kind of like soothe people and everything.
Yeah,
like
him and Michelle Rodriguez.
And then she joins in. Like it's about lifting the spirits and rallying the troops.
I mean, later on she's singing it by herself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Later on he does the whole inspire thing to Simon.
Yeah.
Later on.
Oh yeah.
So from there, he's got trouble mastering all that. Simon and Holga infiltrate the magically sealed door in the vault. But find the room empty except for a magical trap. So they have set this whole thing up now where they have used her to get into one of the carts that is being pulled in for the treasure for these games. And that's the whole thing. All of this treasure is being bought.
They're trying to get beyond the vault.
They're bringing all this treasure to the vault that they're going to use this treasure for betting.
Betting on the games. And so it's all the richest, wealthiest people, all this giant coliseum looking over.
Going into Neverwinter for these games.
For these games that have been held off for however long. We don't know exactly how long that they haven't been happening. So they use Doric's ability to shapeshift. And she goes in as like a fly or whatever and goes in to the one area and then sets it up with the transporter onto a picture frame, which I need to make sure that this is out there. The picture that she cuts off is Paul Scheer.
Yes, it is.
It's gotta be Paul.
100%. It is Paul Scheer in like nothing else in the movie. He's not anywhere else in the movie.
I feel like that was used in Little Giant? Big Giant. What was the Human Giant? Human Giant. Yeah, I feel like that was something
like he
in
played
Human Giant.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
Or it was just one of his posts, like a picture on the wall.
Either way, they just put it in there for the
it was great.
The handful of people that were going to get that little reference. And then so she like puts it back on, and the whole idea is they're going to bring this picture frame. They're going to put it into the vault. And then the vault is going to be locked, and they will be able to transport through this picture frame into the vault. but unfortunately somebody stores the picture
and it falls
face
over.
down.
No.
Yeah,
it falls over.
But to them, they're like, who stores the painting face down? So it's on the floor. Doric says, let me keep chipping away. She thinks she can chip away and get all she needs is a quarter of an inch
then she can
so that she can become a worm and sneak right in. And they're like, all right, so that's plan D or whatever at this point. And then they're going to keep going forward, and they're going to try to go in, and Edgin's going to find his daughter, and they're going to get her, they're going to escape. And like that is the plan as of that point.
That is my second favorite scene coming up. Is you see Chris Pine walking up to a bunch of guards and start singing a song.
Oh yes.
So he starts singing a song, and the guards walk up, and
they're running into the actual castle.
Yeah, because they leave her, and then they're gonna go into the castle.
Yeah.
So Chris Pine comes up, and you see Chris Pine coming
and he's
up
just
playing
a
lute.
song, and everybody walks up and is kind of like looking at him, and all of a sudden,
all eyes on the bard.
Well, all eyes are on the bard, and then you see Chris Pine and the whole crew sneaking behind, and Simon is projecting.
Yeah, he's using a illusion
spell, and then all of a sudden his foot gets caught. And he's distracted, and it's another great gameplay moment where it's like, your concentration crit failed. Like,
you lost your
while
roll.
you're sneaking in, your foot gets caught in the ground, and the
roll to get loose.
Yeah, roll to get loose, and he can't, and then well, you now have to roll to keep maintaining the illusion over there, and it's like, well, he can't, and he just morphs into the funniest weird blob.
Yes.
And finally, like, what the hell? The guy goes,
oh my god! So. I had to Google it.
Yes.
Paul Scheer did a review of this movie on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
It says, this is a really funny big movie. The cast rules. It strikes this really perfect tone that I haven't seen done right ever. Also, it's not me in the painting.
No, it's you. It's you, Paul Scheer. 100%. There's nobody else it could be. That's fun. So
Dude, it could have been Paul Scheer and Aziz Ansari and the two rich dudes that
100%.
Oh yeah,
should have been.
That should yes, that would have been great.
So the group eventually.
Because eventually, when he's like, "Can you just stop doing that?" I could see Aziz being like, "Can you just stop doing that?"
Yeah. So the group is eventually captured and forced to participate in the games. So they get put into the games.
Well, they get caught because Chris Pine.
Chris Pine goes to talk to his daughter.
Finds his daughter.
Gives him the whole big speech, but it winds up being
Sophina.
Sophina. So Sophina disguised as Kira, subdues Edgin. The group is then captured and forced to participate in the games.
Not forced to participate. He talks them into putting them into the game.
Yeah, because she was gonna Forge was gonna kill him there because he's like, remember, I don't want to see you die, so I'm gonna leave the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the room. I don't want to see you die, so I'm going to leave the room.
Yeah.
And Chris Pine talks them into it, and she says, they killed your guards, they killed my men. Put them in the game.
Yeah. That is true. So they get put into the game. Now, right off the bat, when they enter the playing field of the game, there are two other groups.
Yes.
I was looking this up because I was like, I want to know if there was anything hidden in there.
Oh, I said it to him in the movie last night.
Yeah. What did you say?
That was one of the few things I caught because I'm not a big D&D nerd.
It reminded me of Lost Vikings, but it was the original
the original cartoon
that's
characters
what I
from
found.
Dungeons and Dragons.
So the
was
one
of the groups
to their left,
the
cartoon
green
is
barbarian.
Dressed, and then,
the green mage, the barbarian, they made them all look exactly like the cartoon characters.
And I never watched the cartoon or anything, but it just in my scrolling through things yesterday, that came up, and I was like, oh, I knew one thing was hidden in there.
I saw that cartoon a handful of times when I was like a kid. Yeah,
because it didn't play very much, even on Saturday mornings. It kind of phased out.
Well, it was the devil. You can't have the devil in your household.
The only thing they were missing was maybe, I think there was a little unicorn that was
in the comparison picture I saw, there's a little unicorn. Yeah. So they go into the games, and the whole playing of the games is basically you're just running from these crazy panthers with Venus flytrap tails.
Cast illusion.
They do illusion spells of themselves.
Yeah.
So you think that they're in front of you, but they're gonna.
So these things just run around
because it's a panther. You gotta figure out how a panther would hunt.
But in addition to that, at this point, they've been the two magic users have been given these bracelets that stop their magic.
Yes.
And so with that on, they can just only do what they would be able to do naturally without those spells.
It's a displacer beast.
Displacer beast.
Yeah, okay.
And so while they're running through all of this,
But
there are these.
It was the treasure chests.
Oh yeah,
Well,
treasure
the
chests that have
mimics.
tongue,
There was mimics.
yeah.
Yeah. Mimic. That was really cool to see a mimic on the full screen.
gelatinous cube.
Well, that's what it's
Oh,
called.
gelatinous cube is such a cool enemy.
Because you
too.
saw the one guy go in and just
and then he just starts like dissolving, and then Doric has her hand in it and pulls it out, and she's like, "I almost lost my hand," and then that stings. I almost lost my hand, and Michelle Rodriguez is like, "Well, look what you did lose."
Yeah.
And
the cool thing about that is if you think about, I was talking to Jamie because he's like, "Oh, I never played, so it's cool that we're gonna be talking about it." And I was like, one of the best examples that I can go over multiple people having the role and get through something was the scene coming up that we're talking about.
All in
where she comes up with the plan. She's like, "Jump into the blob. I will shapeshift and pull you out.
I'll pull you out."
So the amount of rolls that have to happen
successfully
to get people out of this gelatinous ooze that's going to kill you.
Yep.
And you not take damage
right
from
there.
it.
It went so they go into that, and then they get transported into like the basement, the low end of the games. And what I thought immediately, I was like, "Oh, did they just mess up there?" Because they pull everybody out, and they pull Simon out, and he still has his bracelet on. And I was like, wait, and I was like, oh, no, he got pulled forward.
Yes.
So the bracelet was still there.
Yes.
So if they had the time and the thought, they could have been like, hey, just stick your thing back in and pull it back out. Like,
which I'm surprised that they didn't. And the whole time I'm like, why don't they just have him do this? He can use his magic.
Because I thought they just screwed up like in that way, but it's like, no, like physically.
Well, they do explain it.
You would have like,
I mean, he throws him keys. He's like, here, when they go in the basement.
They ended up downstairs in the armory.
Yeah, so they get
the keys.
Yeah, they get the keys. Where are they at right now? So
they were gonna sail away with all the treasure.
Yes. All right. So at this point, Simon had the group is captured, forced to participate in the games.
No, they have to go back up.
But they managed to escape the stadium, and then Doric discovers that Forge has loaded the treasure onto a boat and is preparing to flee.
They still don't have his daughter yet.
She's on the boat.
The group steals the boat
for
themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
And rescues Kira from Forge, who threatened Kira's life. So they get the daughter. They get the real daughter.
The potato to the face.
The potato to the face scene.
Was great.
And the use of potatoes by Michelle Rodriguez throughout this movie is just hilarious.
I mean, it opens up with that.
With
the ogre or the ogre
slowly,
or whatever. Yeah. She doesn't like to be interrupted when she's eating a potato.
So the group steals the boat for themselves, rescues Kira from Forge, and who is already, at this point, he's threatening her life. So you know that, like, he even says something like, look what you're making me do. Even like the things I love. So they, what do they do to him that gets him knocked out?
The potato to the face.
The potato to the face is him getting knocked out. Yeah. And then so then they run up, get on the boat, and they're going away, and they're just like, oh. But at this point in the story, the purpose of
because what we didn't
Sofina,
tell you about
the real purpose of the games,
of what the games were.
Well, we also didn't talk about what is it, Sam Tim or
Zank. The paladin tells us about how all the red.
But what was the wizard that betrayed all the people? Sam, the one that talks to her.
Talks
her master, basically.
The
evil Sith Lord.
The evil guy. So there is throughout the whole thing, unbeknownst to most people, and watching, you don't know until Zank tells you, that they have this ability to basically gas everybody and turn them into their army,
which is another great plot point as a D&D player, because at that moment, the one main, Chris Pine's character, you assume he's the main character through this campaign or story. He's finished his thing. He got his daughter back.
Yep.
He found. He got everything that he needs.
He's got everything.
But beforehand, he's given all this. Like, you're gonna need this paper. Take this book. You're going, or what was it? His honor guard.
The Harper guidebook.
You're gonna need these words again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen until they're sailing away.
Until they're sailing away, everything seems to be hunky-dory, but as the viewer, you know that she has gathered the entire city here so that she can turn all of them into the army of the undead and basically take over the world.
Yep.
And it starts to work. She takes over all the rich people.
Yeah, that's what he's like, can you stop with that?
Yeah, the Aziz wannabe character. And then, so they're escaping. And then brilliantly, they realize the best way to get everybody out safely is to fulfill his promise to Zank and give all of the money back. So now
that was the one thing.
Neverwinter.
Yeah, to the people of Neverwinter.
That was the only. That's the only way that they could get him
Zank
to help him.
Yeah, exactly. So
swear on this that you will. Give.
So they get close enough to reach the hot air balloon with the hither thither. And they put one side of it on the hot air balloon and the other side at the bottom of the boat. So all of the
it's on his mouth
riches,
on the hot air balloon. So
all the riches go out and start spewing out his mouth.
Forge's mouth.
And Forge has already told the crowd, stick around for the for your prize afterwards. And he so that all the people see and start pouring out. And at this point,
start chasing it.
Sophia's like, no, like they're leaving.
One of the kids in the crowd says, "Oh, that's the prize he told us to wait for."
Exactly.
And everybody goes out behind.
And everybody goes running after. But then, so the hot air balloon drops all the money, drawing the people out of the stadium before Safina's spell can take full effect. So now she's outraged at her defeat. She attacks the group. Simon is able to master his magic, like right then and there, like. In that moment where I'm going to die.
No, he masters it.
No, he masters it when he gets into the vault.
Because
Edgin
tells him,
you're right, because he has
like, you've always been able to pull off your greatest magic right before you absolutely need to.
And that's when he knocks his
they're getting chased by the guards into that point.
Was that fight when they're fighting with the mage hands?
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool, man. Yeah, there was some cool stuff there. Yeah.
Was that the scene? Oh God, what was the scene where Michelle Rodriguez is like, they're not going to stay dead long type of thing, and then they run away. That was earlier in the.
That was Zank when he fought them.
He's like killing the undead is no.
He's like killing the undead is no easy task. They don't stay dead down for long. And then as he's walking away, they all start popping up, and the rest of the group is like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
Yeah, then that's when they get eaten.
And that's
side note, just Regé Jean Paul. 100% Bond. That guy should.
Oh yeah, 100%. Great.
Like he is just stoic. He's very, and he was like. What, on like one TV show, Bridgerton, and became like the biggest sex symbol in the world? Like, just give the guy.
I'd never heard of him before this movie.
I actually watched that show. It was really good.
He hosted Saturday Night Live, and that's when I found out who he was. And I was like, oh, this guy's just like annoyingly good looking and very charismatic. Like, yeah, sure. Yeah, like, give him Bond. Like,
the show was good because of the acting. Like, did you ever watch it?
No.
No, I mean...
it's a lot of sex, right? Like, a lot of sex.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I know a friend of ours' mother was watching it, and then they and Steve-O's mom, and they were just like, it's really awkward talking to her about how much she likes this TV show, because it's all a bunch of bonus.
So but in Bridgerton,
I watched Game of Thrones with my mom.
He was in Bridgerton. He was in the Roots.
Yeah, but did you watch it with your sister?
It was but it was different because it was first marriage. You know what I mean? Back in the day. But no, it was a good show. He played the part really well.
Yeah,
he's a very good actor.
British TV shows and stuff, like he came up through the ranks there.
If not there, you know what? Make him Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be bad either.
Who's a woman now?
I'm not.
She'll be Doctor Who for a while.
Who's on first?
They just went back to David Tennant, I think.
For a one-off. It was for a one-off.
Okay. Yeah, I stopped. I was watching
that was for like
a while.
50th or 60th anniversary special, something, but it was like all living doctors.
I stopped after Tennant.
You know what? Make him the next either Sith that we see or Jedi.
Here's what we do. Combine them all. All
right. Make him our
I
best
want
friend.
Doctor Who. Dr. James Who.
All right.
Sith Lord.
And he's a Gungan.
He's a Gungan. All right, so back to Sophina. Outraged at her defeat, Sophina attacks the group, but Simon's able to master his magic and nullify Sophina's time stop spell, which is what thwarted them in the first time.
That whole thing was really cool.
Yeah. Yep. Another part where it's just like, if you're going to make movies with a lot of CG and a lot of like just green screen stage work, make it cool. Like, make it highly entertaining. Don't do something that you can do in real life in that moment. Like, go film that outside. Go film that next to a real tree. Don't green screen a tree. This movie uses all CG perfectly.
Also, if you look at this here, I'm pretty sure they use miniatures. I'm pretty sure the shot from above is a miniature.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, practical effects does.
I mean, obviously this is CG where it opens up, but I'm pretty sure that's very, a miniature model from above. Also, talking about that time stop, everybody stayed still. Very
so well.
Realistic.
Everybody rolled really well.
Yeah. Because exactly. Again,
you didn't want to play red light, green light against them in the Squid Games. You would have lost.
Yeah. No, because I believe I was like, oh, well, here we go.
Yeah. And then another thing that we haven't mentioned throughout, Kira does have a pendant that allows her to, be invisible.
Magic.
Yeah, because
at one point, they stole it from a window. Holga took it from a shop.
One of their first heists.
Yeah. And so she has had that, and that's what helped her stay safe like throughout all their adventures and whatnot. So throughout most of these last couple of scenes, you don't know if she's right there with them or what's going on.
She's told to be safe.
She's
told stay hidden.
Yeah, keep it hidden. Keep it safe. So Akira uses her invisibility pendant that Edgin and Holga gave her as a child to place an anti-magic bracelet on Sophina in that moment. So everyone's faking the slowdown. You
just called her Akira.
Kira. Allowing it's the off of the G. It's a Kira, Akira, yes. Either way, Akira. Side note, the movie's back on. It's not gonna be good.
The live action?
Taika Waititi, they just announced that it's back on for Akira.
Oh, man.
Taika
Waititi? I don't know about that.
The article
headline. I did with Ghost in the Shell. And not watch it. And
my whole thing, though, is
the headline for it was Taika, Destroy Your Mythos Waititi is back on the Akira thing. Either way, so
I feel like it's going to be too funny.
Kira puts the bracelet on Sophina. Sophina is killed when Dark attacks her as the owlbear form and brutally just keeps going. Yeah. Like, talk about beating a dead whore. That's over and over again.
Status.
So crushed, and then she gets crushed by falling debris. But in that, Holga is fatally injured. Yep. And this is the moment where, like, all of the stories kind of converge. You have, or all of like the individual journeys kind of converge. At this point, Simon is brave. He is powerful. He is.
Yeah, he's gotten his confidence.
He
100% got his confidence.
The trust.
He became
humans.
Magneto, dude, with that that helmet.
With that helmet, yeah.
That scene was really cool. That fight scene was really cool.
But they, everybody gets what they want right there, and Holga is dying, and you realize
she got stabbed by
she's stabbed by the Red Wizard's blade, which is what killed the mother in the beginning, and it is something that cannot be reversed.
But it was also the running gag through the movie with looking at Simon immediately for it, because magic solves everything.
Magic solves everything.
Well, they keep talking about can't you
just get us over there with magic? And that's leading up to him getting the staff.
Well, he even says, he's like, guys, I know that you joke about this,
magic solves everything,
magic
but it doesn't work that way.
And then immediately they're like, well, why don't you just magic it?
Magic this, like, actually, I do have something that can bring up the dead. So he says in that scene, like, it was a Red Wizard's blade. I can't do anything there. And in that moment is like this perfect thing where Chris Pine, the whole catalyst for everything is to get the tablet of immortality or whatever it's called, of reawakening. To get the tablet so he can reawaken his daughter. So his wife. To awaken his wife. So his wife and his daughter can be a family again.
But she never met.
They did.
She was a baby.
She was a baby.
But basically,
Olga is her mother.
Yes.
And in all of these flashback scenes, you see how important Holga is to the daughter.
When he sees Kira crying, he realizes Holga's her mother.
I wanted, and that's where.
They even talk about it where they're like more brother and sister. You know, and then the funny scene, which is the throwback that we're about to get to. With when they're going to pay, and he's like right before they go to Neverwinter, when he sees the ad for Forge. And he goes to pay, and the bartender's like, "Oh, you're paying for you and your wife," and he's like me, and he's like, "Your lips
not
are
with
too
those
big."
lips.
Not with those lips.
What's wrong with my lips?
Too big for your face.
What?
So in that moment, I mean, every individual character has gotten what they want at that moment, except for Kira.
Yes.
Kira wants her family, and her family isn't necessarily her mother and her father. It might not even necessarily be her father at that point. It is Holga.
What's up, Marty?
Well, how we do it? He is what, he realizes in that moment that what he wants doesn't matter. It's what I need to do for my daughter.
Well, he was being selfish in that, thinking that it was for him and the daughter.
It was never, I wanted to resurrect your mother. I wanted to resurrect my wife. And he realizes that, and they use... He says the words that he has to say. He says Holga's name, and then she comes back and immediately is like, "You wasted it on me. You wasted it on me." And then, but that it gives everybody what they want at the end. The bad guy gets it. The bad guy's killed,
and our party survives.
And the party survives to fight another day. But not before you get to see Revel's End one more time. And now it's 1 year later, and you have Hugh Grant's character, Forge, in there trying to do the exact same thing in the opening of the movie.
Before that, you get the shot of the halfling and Michelle Rodriguez seeing the other halfling.
Oh my god!
So she obviously has a thing for halflings.
You're right.
And that's what I was going to say. That's why I was laughing. Because that makes that joke with Chris Pine about his lips being too big layered, dude. Because she's like, not with those lips, they're
too big. She likes small lips.
She likes small lips.
What does she like those small lips to do, guys? I don't know. What were you going to say, Zach?
Zank shows up too before.
Yes. Yes.
And takes whatever Forge was running away with.
Yes.
It looked like they're friggin' Stanley Cup.
He's running. It
was a massive. The one thing he could hold on to or catch before it fell out.
What was it? It's not. What is that thing called? A chalice?
Chalice.
Is that what he calls it? He goes, stupid chalice. He's running away with it. So then he gets sent, to prison, and we see him in the same position they were in at the beginning of the movie.
So great.
Where he is pleading, and he starts going into his whole...
Starts with my mother.
That's...
It flashes back for...
like a tenth of a second.
And they're like, nope.
Nope.
Failed,
and then he fails. They mark it failed, and right then Jarnathan opens the door again, and he goes, "Jarnathan!" and then grabs him and turns to fly out the window where there's a curtain in front of it, and they just hit a brick wall because the window has been replaced by a brick wall. And that's pretty much how the movie ends.
Yeah, I mean, he ends with him apologizing, like, I don't know what came of it.
And then, so all of our heroes get to be
We are talking about the D&D movie.
Yeah, the D&D film. Wrapping it up right here. We're literally on the last seconds.
So Marty, he came in real late.
Technically Jasmine, but on her grandmother's tablet.
All right. Yes. You go way back to the beginning of this, and you can start listening to what we've been discussing.
Your grandma's name is Marty?
Nice.
Hey.
All right. Hey, that's pretty cool.
So the credits roll, and as always in any movie, you go, okay, what's going to happen? And Jamie has the inside scoop, having been at the theater and knowing that there is a mid-credit scene.
Yes.
And the mid-credit scene just cuts back to the one corpse
sitting up,
of Holga's people, sitting there just going, "Can somebody please just ask me one question? Anybody?" And then it cuts away.
It should have been John Cleese.
It really should have. Knowing that it was going to be either Eric Idle, John Cleese.
Eric Idle would be,
Yeah, I mean, you could have given it to
going
anybody.
forward with a series or anything. Do you think they get them now?
I don't know because I don't know what the reasons that they didn't agree to.
Fair
they
enough.
don't all agree with each other, right?
They're all kind of spread out all over the map, both like personally, politically, everything like that.
100%.
Terry Gilliam's on his way out mentally. That is something that for the last 2 years he has been deteriorating, but still, working and making projects. Eric Idle. Michael Palin and John Cleese, I believe, are the three still surviving and acting and working.
Would you be cool with the Mighty Boosh doing it?
Oh yeah,
honestly, the same thing.
I think with this, what they've done with this movie is they have, I don't want to say corrected what was done wrong in the older ones, because the older ones do have their merit.
I like the one with
the Wayans brother with Marlon.
It has
2001.
It's
the
Ray
guy
Liotta,
that's not
dude.
Jerry O'Connell, but looks like Jerry O'Connell.
It's Ray Liotta. As the villain.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Jeremy Irons is a bad guy in one of them.
Jeremy Irons is always a good bad guy.
He's always a good bad guy.
They weren't funny enough.
They weren't funny enough, and
I think they were
relying
on
D&D hardcore fans.
Well, the Wayne's brother to bring comic relief.
Think about the time period it came out in. It was really, and that's why fans didn't flock to it. It was a cash grab. They were trying to cash in on the Lord of the Rings and all that hype.
It also
felt
like
Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
It felt like they were
Star Wars is back. Let's
when you're
acting,
act like you're in Stargate or Sliders or be Jerry O'Connell. You know what I mean?
Again, that guy that's not Jerry O'Connell, but every time I see his face, I'm like, Jerry O'Connell. No. It's not even Jerry O'Connell's twin. It's just a third guy that looks like Disney just like took a little bit of their DNA and made another guy.
Now they did say they wanted to do more movies.
They have said that, and the Johns have said that they would want to focus on these characters since people already know them. And now with Kira having the pendant and being a part of their team, she can replace.
She's the rogue.
She's the rogue now.
The new rogue.
She can step in and be the rogue.
My kitty named Kitty is begging, and I think my dog thought her.
Oh, good. Whatever translator you're using is working wonderfully.
Yes.
So I think, I don't know, let's just kind of like get everybody's just overarching opinion and thoughts on this, and then moving forward. And along with it, let's give our rankings too. Jamie, if you don't know, we do rankings 0 to 100. 0 being the absolute god-awful, 100 being a perfect movie. 50 and below would be you would never really want to watch it again.
Definitely not going to theaters.
Definitely not going to go to theaters. Don't recommend it. 50 to like 60, 65, 70 in there is like, it's good. It's pretty good. 70 to 80 is like a damn good movie.
Yeah, definitely go to the movies.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. I might have a poster of it on my wall, maybe. But I'm definitely going to recommend people seeing it. 80 to 90 is like, holy crap, this movie.
Right.
And then 90 and above is just like you couldn't have done any better.
What did I think I gave Akira a high 90.
Yeah, you gave that a high 90.
Like
and yeah, I'm in like the mid 80s on that. So Justin, to start with you, what is your opinion on the movie? How do you think they did?
I thought the movie was great. More in the terms of how we play.
Yeah.
I could see the players. Like, I've been joking saying that I think Stranger Things is going to end their season with everybody getting up and being like, great session.
Yeah, great game.
I was sort of saying that, how funny would it be if the movie ended and everybody walked away?
They could have done the Princess Bride approach to it. Yeah.
I mean, because all the characters that you've grown attached to in Stranger Things, how smart would it be to be like, great game night.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
But how pissed off would everybody be?
Very pissed off.
It would be,
except for me, because I think it would be a great
ending. Good twist. It would be a good twist.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun. But I think a lot of people would be like, it was all a dream.
I used to read
the problem
magazine.
because it's been done so many times and so badly.
Yes.
Many times.
Yeah.
Like when it's done well, it's done well and it's awesome.
What's that show? Dallas?
Dallas did it so badly to the point that they had to mock it on Family Guy. Yeah. 20 years later.
So the D&D movie itself, Honor Among Thieves, I think it was great. I had a lot of fun watching it. There wasn't any really slow paced moments, even when they were traveling. I like that they gave us different landscapes. There's one where they're riding through and you get volcanoes.
Another movie where just like pick any shot in this movie and that's your background on your computer and it'll work.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Going forward, I would love to see a TV series of campaigns.
Yeah.
I would love to see more movies. You can literally marvel it, but I don't think it would get that old because it's so different. You don't have to use the same characters, but you can also include those characters. If a new party ends up in Neverwinter, you can have Michelle Rodriguez's character pop
like
in the background.
Like a D&D campaign.
Where she helps you for like 2 things and then all right, good luck.
That's the cameo.
So what do you give it 0 to 100? Where are you sitting at on this one?
I'm going with an 80.
An 80?
Yeah, right, I'm going flat 80. Yep.
Heck yeah. All right, Jamie, what are your thoughts on the movie? How do you think they pulled it off, and what is your ranking?
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, and I was telling him earlier today at work, like, some of the jokes, some of the more detailed stuff of the D&D, since I've never played, went over my head. I missed it. I didn't catch it because I'm not a D&D
there are parts where like you just hear one of us chuckle. And
and I was like, that's something. I missed something there, and I'm fine with that. But as a if I'm going in as no one that and that's the hard part, right? Because even though I've never played D&D, I've played plenty of video games. I've been in nerd culture.
Well, you've played Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate.
I've been around.
I have played D&D, but I know about a millionth of what you guys know as far as this culture. And everything.
So like I've been around it enough that I know of it and a lot of it. So
you're not sitting there going, "Why does she have horns?"
Exactly. I was like, I know what a tiefling is. So
is this
what is a druid?
But as not knowing the intricacies of it, I was like, it's a solid action adventure movie, comedy. It's so to me, it's like a C plus B minus. So I would put it at an 80, 79, 80.
All right, hell yeah.
It's just it's a good movie.
Would you go see a sequel?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Based on that, would you watch a TV show based on it?
Yeah, totally watch a TV show.
Would you? Are you going to go back?
Porno based on it.
I did.
I mean, there's probably
that was part of my research.
I mean, there's always a porno beta.
If
Rule 38 or whatever.
I say but I mean, when you do play some D&D, will you go back and watch the movie to see if there's anything you missed?
Yeah, totally.
Like because it's going to be a different watching experience.
That's always been the fun of watching a movie after you learn more of something. It's like, oh crap! How many times have you watched a Disney movie as an adult?
And you're like, how did we miss that joke?
How did I miss this joke as a child? It's because you don't think about that.
I mean, Blank Check was a perfect example. Him doing Blank Check. I went back because I had to get some footage for that to edit things together. And the things that the dad says to the mom, I'm just like, wait, what? That was PG, right?
Yeah,
I'm just like. Yeah, because he's like, wait till the boys get or go off to college to really experience something. I'm just like, what the?
I remember watching that movie as a kid and be like, this is awesome. Yeah. And then I watched it again a few years ago and I was like, holy crap, that FBI agent is like
a
pedophile.
Oh yeah.
100%. If you guys haven't yet checked it out, you can check out On Tape on this channel on Binge Report or on Binge Rampage. Zach, what are we thinking? What do you got to say about this film? 74.
Okay.
And what are your thoughts overall on the movie itself? How they executed it?
I liked it.
You liked it.
I liked it. I would like to see more adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be them, but I like the way they made everything look. It felt right to me.
Heck yeah. I think one movie that I want to compare this to, and might get flack for it, but I think what they did really, really well with this is what they also did really, really well with the reboot of Jumanji.
It is
100% goofy. It is all over the place with the humor. There's some dry stuff. There's some just over the top slapsticky moments, but they gave you characters that were fun to watch, and you were rooting for them.
Yeah, 100%.
And in the way that Jumanji, you know what the real world versions of those people are, so you get that kind of aspect of like the dorky guy becoming the ripped guy and all of that. Not having that worked really, really well. I was also say for Stranger Things, I was kind of thinking they were gonna start and end this with a game night of kids playing or like young adults playing. Because it
starts with them playing D&D. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, but in this movie, I kind of was thinking they were going to do that. I think it's a better thing that they didn't. Just let it be. We are watching stories from the Forgotten Realms. I think the humor was on point and not over the top. Yeah.
Do you think that the characters that we see, like Chris Pine and stuff like that, do you think that's supposed to be the representation of the player and what they look like, or do you think that's what they came up with? The player came up with their image of the character.
I am thinking of this as there is no player.
Okay, so
as
it's
much
just in the
as
story.
they just did a good job of writing the story
Fair enough.
to use the feelings of that, I didn't really think of it after it started. I just was in for the ride and enjoyed it. I think that this is something that I don't want them to beat it till it's dead. I want them to do it tastefully.
Sure.
Give me a show, and then in 4 years, 5 years, give me another D&D movie. You don't need to pump one out in the next year and a
Marvel
half.
it. I'm good with. Or Star Wars.
Don't Marvel it. Don't Marvel it.
No.
Don't go to the part where in 17 years we're gonna have 39 movies.
I mean in the original where you got some series where you got a series and then a movie and then you got some series. Like I would be totally cool with them. I mean, not these characters per se because they've pretty much given us the backstory how we need. I don't need Michelle Rodriguez's full backstory.
Yeah, we already know what's going on. Left and all the ins
but
and
a
outs
rogue, like a random rogue that is a good thief.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind a little bit of more background story on how she and Bradley Cooper came to be in a relationship. I think a sitcom style approach to the two of them, before everything happened, that could be pretty funny. But you don't need to go too much more in depth with everybody that's already been established. But I loved it. I had a really fun time with it. There isn't much that I can complain about. Again, my complaints leaving last night were things that were in the trailer.
Some edits and stuff,
that made me think that a certain cut here and there was kind of like, the credit. Is it the credit? Because that's what I was going to get to. Okay.
But bards have spells.
Bards do have spells.
That is true.
Bards get lots and lots and lots of spells.
Yeah.
Like Charm Person.
I mean, we're just assuming that he's a bard. We're just
they
assuming.
say he's a bard.
Also, the
whole the loot around. I mean,
also he may have cast things with us not realizing, like the actual inspiration to keep people going.
Yeah, when he does the inspiration thing, could have been like a charm or something like that.
Like he doesn't have to announce it; he's just doing it.
Bards get like mage hands and stuff.
Yeah. They get cantrips and stuff. Yeah.
And that's the other thing which we didn't really talk about when we first meet Simon. He's using his magic to rob people and everything.
Yes.
That scene was really freaking awesome.
The whole levitation thing,
because the one part Zach leads over to me and the woman's just like, "My son can do that," and he's like 8, and then Zach's like, "Yeah, cantrips." Like he's just going through like lighting the flame and all that. There's a lot. I highly recommend the movie. I definitely think people should go see it if you are interested in any way in fantasy, D&D specifically, or not. If you play Magic the Gathering, if you play Pathfinder, if you play
any RPG,
if you want to look
any
at
RPG that you've ever played, if you're buying Diablo 4 when it comes out in June,
this is a movie you should
watch
check out.
that movie. Support. Maybe not Hasbro, but support the people.
Influenced every single RPG.
100%.
While we were shooting this podcast,
and Tolkien,
I gave Hasbro $65. I ordered the Secret Lair.
Oh, did you? You're gonna frame them?
I'm gonna frame them. It's all the characters from this.
That's awesome.
I ordered the foil one too.
That's great.
Now, for me, my ranking on this, you guys both went 80.
Are you rolling? We should have rolled.
We should have rolled for our scores. No, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I don't think it, for a fantasy movie, I don't think it lacked anything. For an adventure action movie, I think it had all of it there. And for a comedy, if I was going to look at it as a comedy, it was pretty damn funny. All in all,
I heard everybody laughing.
Yeah, no, it was
laughing.
A very, very well received movie. I'm gonna go. You guys are saying 80 and you're saying 74. I'm like kind of right around there. I'm gonna go with the 76.
Okay.
It is a good first step in this direction.
Yes. It's a much better step from where it's been.
Yes, it's a better reboot. I think a lot of it on the CG, a big part of the older ones that didn't besides them trying to take it so seriously, what they didn't take seriously was their graphics department.
You're saying reboot. I don't even think that is applicable. Like, Batman is reboot because there's only one Batman.
True.
Not necessarily true, though.
Or there's multiverses.
Not necessarily true, because when you look at comics itself, they're just different stories within different universes or timelines
all those
or whatever.
Stories are about Batman.
Yeah.
Sure, yes.
All of those D&D stories,
all of these D&D stories
true. Reboot is maybe not the right word.
Yeah, it's about the Forgotten Realms as the character.
It's a reinstallation.
Or you could just think of every single movie and show that's come out before it as a different campaign run by a different
Well, exactly. And that's what he's saying. So it's not technically a reboot.
I feel like calling it a reboot is...
I'll agree with that.
This is just the one that's done the best. Again, not as someone that's ever played it, but this is the one that's done the best job of translating what it's like to play the game on the big screen.
Also, we didn't play the game in the early 90s.
Right.
So is the humor and how silly it can be now a product of the modern time?
Yeah, the culture that is existing.
I feel like when you read about some of these old guys that played, they were a lot more serious in 1992.
They might have been serious, but I don't think there's going to be always humor in these games.
As long as you have people that are humorous.
Yeah, you're not going to have a deadpan, no laughs evening. There's going to always be some...
I mean, you could have like a really angry or really sad, part.
Just so due to the randomness of the dice, of what they can do to you, and the insanity of it.
They did say that they weren't expecting to do a franchise with this, but
that's
they would
what
do
I'm saying.
a
That's
sequel.
what I said off the bat. They said they would do a sequel.
But they've been joking around, and it's been making a lot of people mad. But Drizzt is what they want to do, and they threw out
what is what they want?
Drizzt? Yeah, Dr or Drizzt. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what that is.
Drizzt. It's a very deep campaign that's supposed to be serious and like not funny, and
it's about a certain character, right? Drizzt.
Yeah.
I don't know where Drizzt comes from, but I know it's a very big deal in the fantasy genre.
But when they were asked about it, they asked what style, and immediately they threw out stop motion. And they were joking about it, but that just goes to like the way that they think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't looking for a series. They were
looking to make one movie.
But they did talk about how in a sequel, the great thing about it is they don't have to introduce the characters again.
That's
we
what
can
I'm
just
saying
get right into like
hit the ground
crazy.
Hit the ground running.
Yep.
Yep.
But no, I think that if you are interested and you're on the fence, go check it out. And if you have no interest in it, I don't know why you're listening to me talk right now.
Fair enough.
But guys, I think we could wrap this episode up here. Definitely go check it out. It's entertaining. It's fun. Go to the theaters, support movie theaters. If you have a local theater that's playing it, go check that out. And if you have a friend that works at a not local theater, use and abuse their kindness.
Hell yeah, take advantage of the corporate.
Yes, you should. Big ups. We didn't say his name at all this episode. Big up to Mr. Rampage, Mr. R for letting us be here. And Lil Rampage, big ups to Lil Rampage, Mr. and Lil, Mr. and Lil. You gotta give the cred to them. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, everybody that listened along with us tonight. To all of our 403,000 subscribers, we love you dearly.
Yes. Each and every one of you.
We will love you dearly if you are legal and wanting. Just gotta find us. But for the Binge Report, we're going to wrap this up here. We do not know what we're doing the next episode, so we're not going to let you know what it's going to be. But big thank you to Jamie for being here and for going to see these movies with us. I think we can wrap it up on that for the Binge Report. I'm Kyle Mocha. That's been Mr. Justin Olampado, and he's Zachary.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay!
Stormin'. All right, guys. We will see you when we see you 2 weeks or so. Who knows? Watch movies, like, comment, subscribe, share to your friends, click the bell, all of those things. And we didn't do it yet tonight, so to sign off, I'm just going to say, fuck. Bye, guys.
I said it in the first...